What is up, and welcome back to Beyond the Arc with Brandon Silvers. As always, I am your host, Brandon Silvers. It is college hoop season, which means I'm taking a conference-by-conference look at who could be headed to Tampa for the women's Final Four. Now, an SEC school has won the title the past 3 seasons, so I had to get a special guest who understands that it just means more. So, from the Committee Sports Group, you saw her slam cover story on Dawn Staley, and I don't know anybody who's doing it better at the intersection of women's sports and culture. It is an honor to be joined by Lo Dreher. Lo, what is going on?
Hey, how are you?
Doing good. Excited about the episode and the season, of course. Got the special guest there with us.
Yes. I'm
so
excited.
Let's go on and get into it. You're from the 803.
And
the title currently resides in the 803.
Does.
From the world's greatest rebuilding season last year, undefeated South Carolina Gamecocks won the championship. You've seen them this preseason. What are they looking like so far?
Ooh, so to me, this is the year we got it. Last year we saw some good coaching from Dawn, losing 5 starters. But this year I feel like we got to see Dawn get in her bag a little bit. And that's because there is no dominant big yet. Now, we have a flurry of bigs in South Carolina, but we don't have that one big it factor dominant big. So I'm interested to see how Dawn, kind of works it and does that. But the girlies look good. Most notable to me is Pow Pow. She has slimmed down. She is moving those feet. She's looking to attack defenses. And, of course, you're not playing anybody, super huge. But just to see that already, you could tell she's on a mission. You could tell that she really put the work in. Raven Johnson, I mean, just a true point guard. She doesn't always get the love that she deserves, but man, Raven is great. Tessa looks good. Now Malaysia, she's always been flashy. She's always been a scorer. She's always been a pretty good passer. But it's kind of like, ooh, maybe the shot not there, so now let me dump it to you, But you can tell that she has gone into those 2 games with, like, the facilitation. Like, I'm going to be a facilitator on her mind. Like, the way she is, like, conducting and setting the girlies up, I'm like, oh, my gosh. Like, you can tell it's intentional. And she's done that on the high school level. But to see her make that jump, you can tell it's very intentional. Like, coming down the court, you can already tell she's looking. She's just being very, very intentional about facilitating. So a guard like her, if she's being that intentional about facilitating and then she can score, it's just like the sky is the limit. And then that defense, her defense is like, after that North Carolina game, she is not letting that defense go. She is just, man, like, she looks good. And I also need to give a shout out to Chloe, because sometimes you can forget about her because it's not flashy per se, but Chloe is so very clear that Chloe has been in the gym and it has got into, like, Chloe looks good.
Shout out to Body by Bonetti.
Yes.
Like, Molly Bonetti is putting in work. You talked about Pow Pow and Chloe, the whole team, really. And I thought about this last year with Malaysia's jump shot, about how some of it kind of felt like she just wasn't quite strong enough yet to have a consistent 3-point shot. But I need to go ahead and get on. I know Molly's selling the programs. I need to go ahead and get on one of them.
I did it. Yeah, it's like that.
Whew.
Yeah, I look like I'm back. I was back in school running track or something.
See, I need to go ahead. I've been slack. I know you're always asking people, have you done something today? Have you moved today?
Yes.
I need to go ahead and get on the Body by Bonetti.
Yes.
This is free promo, but I need to do it. Especially the holidays are coming up too. Oh, Lord.
Yes.
So how shocked were you that Tahina came back to school?
At first I was a little shocked, but when I listened to her speak and she said, I've gotten so much better off in 1 year. Imagine what I could do when I sit down and take this seriously. I'm like, that's a grown woman response right there. That's a grown woman response. And she said that and she meant it, because I'm telling you, she looks completely different. The way she moves. It's, that's cold.
See?
The door.
No, you're good. Because Tahina, one of my favorite players. I mean, just coming from Oregon, obviously a knockdown shooter, but to see her, I'm excited now to see her do more on the court. I
It's
think she was probably going to be a first-round draft pick
yeah,
possibly last year, but now
yeah.
this year,
She looks good. I'm not even like it's a big difference.
I'm excited.
Yes.
And you talked about Raven Johnson, kind of a weird online discourse around her
So weird. So weird.
and like not really giving her props. She is playing for one of the GOAT traditional point guards in the history of the game.
Right.
For those who don't know, what is the value of having a traditional point guard like Raven? I thought we had ended this conversation after the national title game, but I
Right.
guess not. So please help educate the masses.
Just somebody who is their role is I'm trying to get all of my teammates where in their spots. I have to know your spot. I have to know how you like the ball. The way that she orchestrated passing the ball to Kamilla, it's perfect. I know exactly how you need the ball. So you don't have to, when you get it, it's not too much movement. It's right in your pocket. You can do whatever you need to do. That is perfect because when you don't have that, you see guards trying to dribble too much to get open. You see your post players catching the ball all wide and outside. They can't do what they got to do. But I have a point guard that knows exactly where you want the ball, that knows this and can really say, no. Because you can see Raven sometimes like, no, go that way. No, you come here. You do this. That's the value of a point guard. A lot of teams don't have that. And if a lot of teams did, we'll probably be having a lot of different discussions about champions and stuff like that. So in this world of positionless basketball and these scoring point guards, I'm just like, you need a traditional PG. And I don't mean it to be shady, but these scoring point guards, they haven't won. So it's just kind of like, yes, you're putting up numbers and yes, you can hoop and yes, you're doing that. But at the end of the day, this traditional point guard who's setting everybody up, making sure everybody doing what they got to do, that's who's winning. So
And so am I understanding you correct when you talk about the growth you've seen in Lay? Is she kind of headed down that path too?
yes, now she's gonna always be a flat out scorer,
Yeah.
right? But yes, that's what it looks like. When I mean intentional, like, no, you come here, this and this, I'm gonna go this way and I'm gonna set you up and I know you're gonna be wide open and I'm gonna lob it right where you can get it. Her and Joyce's her and Joyce like dynamic duo out there. I don't know. It's like they just know she just know what Joyce gonna be. It's crazy. But yeah, that's where Leia's headed and this and that quickness and that oh man. Yeah. Yeah.
Really special. And you talked about the growth defensively after that North Carolina game. I know there was a lot of talk about Dawn benching her and this, that, and the other. The proof is in the championship. Like,
Yeah.
Dawn knows what she's doing.
She got to. And to me, especially in this NIL era and this, the players do have a lot of power. It takes a real coach to be like, oh no, you sit down. Because some coaches might be scared because they're like, oh, but I don't want to frustrate her. I don't want her to leave. This, that, and the third. So I think that takes a real one. But I also think she kind of sets that up when the players come into our program. A little bit early. So
Absolutely. And Joyce, we haven't even touched on Joyce Edwards. I was watching her.
man,
My goodness.
I called her a tank the other day. She is so like just strong, man. Joyce is obviously
She's bullying people.
yes, and she comes out of nowhere. She got a nose for rebounding, kind of like we saw with Angie Reese. I feel like she has that same knack for rebounding. Man, Joyce, like I don't even know what to say. It's just something that you have to see because it's like Superwoman. She come out of nowhere, get the ball, lay it up, and you like, girl, what? She catching it up, laying it back in. Like I seen her defend in the paint. I'm watching her defend guards, getting steals. Like, huh? Like, what are we doing? If she came in the game immediately, like just a simple drop step, bloop bloop, nothing. Oh, that's easy. Next, like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's
I saw
crazy.
you talking a little bit about it on Twitter. Where do you think she ends up positionally when it's all said and done?
I think I'm glad that she's come at this point because I get a little sad for LA, Letitia, me here, because I felt like I tweeted this too. She just came at the wrong time, in a time that Dawn wasn't really, and then she had some injuries. In a time that Dawn wasn't really like, okay, you can go out here and do this, and you can do this and do this. So I feel like it's kind of stunted her growth. And even in the W, I mean, I don't know if a lot of Gamecock fans think that, but I do, respectfully, of course. But I think Joyce has come at a perfect time where Don is like, oh no, you can do this, you could do that. We have a team now that allows this, and a third. So I would say small forward ish, but you did see sometimes that when Henny got hurt, LA ran the point guard. She let her do it. That's the best LA has looked in South Carolina to me, in my opinion. But so I think she'll allow her to try different things. I know she's been open about, I'm gonna let her learn it. If she can learn it and she can handle it, we going with it. And I think that's a plus.
Yeah, really excited to see her. Didn't really know because I'm not up on following the high school recruits like that. I just like, I'll see y'all when I see you. But she came in and I was like, how long has she been here? Like she's ready to go.
But she's played everything. She's played soccer. She's played volleyball. So she's already soccer player. You got to be super, super agile. Your feet with your feet and all of that stuff. So I think all of that has just helped her because the way she in the air doing stuff, the way she gets between people, I just think it's just an amalgamation of all of it. And in her IQ, she's smart. It's just all of it. It's just all of it.
Yeah, soccer, I've seen that. My favorite men's player, Hakeem Olajuwon. He started growing up, he was playing soccer. Like I feel like anytime you hear about someone who's got great footwork and great body control, they've been playing soccer.
Yeah,
now, I didn't do that. That's why I'm sitting here talking about it. I played goalie because I was too chubby at the time. I didn't even know Molly Bonetti existed. So I was just a goalie.
Yeah.
But no, you can definitely see that when you see her.
I will say though, Adele tacked as well. When she gets right, think of an aggressive Kamilla Cardoso.
So there we go. Because that was like everyone was wanting it from Kamilla.
Yeah.
And you did see it towards the end.
Sometimes.
I think that you saw it in flashes. But I was gonna ask, like, what are they gonna do with Kamilla being gone? And you mentioned a big hasn't quite stepped forward yet. So you're thinking this could be the one?
Eventually, maybe not as much this season because she's still a freshman season, but I think she'll play. And I think she'll do fine, great.
And still recovering from that injury, too.
Right. So this season, I don't think it'll be like her right now, but eventually, yes, I think her and Joyce could be one of the best post duos out of South Carolina.
I believe you. I believe you.
Like the way Adele, I used to seeing like bigs bring the ball down. Adele catches that ball this high and she positions herself really well. Catches that ball this high and shoot it back this side. The ball don't ever come back down. She can move, she can run. Yeah.
Because that drives me crazy when I see bigs doing that.
Because what are you doing? You're at this point, your arms right up there by the basket. Why are we bringing them back down?
Just put it up. Especially like I was a small guard. If a big brought the ball down around me, yep. So you're negating your advantage by doing that.
Yeah.
Please don't do that. So that's good to hear.
Yeah.
Where do you think they end up at the end of the season? Obviously, I think it's ridiculous to expect another undefeated season, especially with the schedule.
Yeah.
Schedule Dawn puts together. Dawn,
she don't care.
They're playing tough teams. Yep.
Yeah.
But where do you think it ends up?
Yeah, she like, I'll take an L. That's fine. We gonna play. Undefeated, no. Absolutely not. But I ain't gonna lie, I didn't expect that last season. They just kept going and kept going. But undefeated, no. They'll take an L, maybe 2. But I still think they'll have a winning record easy. If it get more than 5 losses, I would be surprised. I think they can end up back in the Final Four. Like I said, I think while we don't have a dominant big yet, I do think the combination of bigs that we do have is still second to none as a whole. And, we still haven't mentioned the Sanaya or Ashland because Don said 1 through 13. So that's including Ash. So all of that and then the guard play, I still think they can make it to the Final Four for sure.
That's crazy too, because I was thinking about this watching the exhibition games, and normally, like in a blowout, you see the walk-ons come on and get some playing time. Like, there's not that at the South Carolina. Like, you come on and
that's what I was thinking too.
Can hoop.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dang, it used to be put the subs in and it'd be a drop off, but now the subs might be worse sometimes.
Yeah,
the subs is Malaysia, Full Wiley, and Joyce Edwards.
Yes.
Keep the And Tessa, keep the other girlies on the court, please.
Yeah, it is just wild. Like,
Yeah.
what a blessing for Dawn. And I think that kind of speaks to who she is as a person, I believe, because you talked about NIL, you have all kind of options.
Yep.
Everything's kind of wide open these days.
Yep.
And so still deciding to come to South Carolina and kind of take a reduced role and understand long-term this is going to pay off.
Right.
Like, that's Dawn Staley and her staff.
Yep. Absolutely.
So moving on to another familiar face in the SEC, LSU, number 7 in the preseason top 25. Moving on past post-Angel Reese era, she's in the WNBA. Where do you think, what are they looking like to you in the preseason so far with this new, trying to figure out how to navigate that?
I think the same thing I kind of said about Powell and Chloe, how it's just been so evident that they've been in the gym, is the same thing with Flau'jae. Flau'jae has been in the gym. It almost looks robotic, and not robotic in a bad sense, but robotic in it's not a lot of movement. It's boom, boom, boom. Cross, pull up, here. It's very like Chris, like I done did this 3,000 times. This is nothing. I'm doing this in my sleep. She looks really good. They had Anissa Morrow at the 3, which is good because at a 3-4-ish, which I like because that's where she'll be in the W. The only thing about it was because she was a little further out, they rebounding suffered a little. So I'm sure Kim will have to figure that out. I didn't get to see the game I watched, the Miracle Shepherd girl. She did not play, but I like that they've added her because I remember tweeting when she transferred from Mississippi State that they fumbled. They should have made sure they did everything to keep her. She's a really defensive guard, and I think that helps Flau'jae a lot because Flau'jae it's not on Flau'jae to have to score and defend. So that helps her out a lot, and she's willing to defend. She'll pick you up 94 feet. Caitlin Gilbert is a really good scorer. She does have to pick up her defense a little bit, but in Kim Mulkey's system, I'm sure she'll get it. I'm sure she'll get it. So I have a lot of scoring options. I do think, and this is not, I know sometimes how they fans get, they took out a lot of teams took kind of a page out of what South Carolina did last season and got all of this depth. So I'm moving. So I think that helps them a lot. Samaya Smith looks good. Jersey, I don't want to pronounce her last name wrong. She's a little bit of a conundrum to me. I'm just not sure how she fits really. I know she labels her, she's 6'5", but she labels herself as a guard.
Yeah.
But Kim is like, Dawn, you're 6'5", you're getting your butt in the paint. You know what I mean? Like, Kim and Dawn don't play that. But at the same time, she's not really a banger, you know? So I'm just, of course it was only an exhibition game, but it looked like she just was like kind of out there. So she just has to find a way to insert herself and find a role within the team. I'm interested to see how she fits. Aaliyah Del Rosario, she's still got some development to do. I know she was a little hurt. She gotta lock in. Like I said, I'll give her some grace because she was injured, but I want her to lock in. Like we talk about South Carolina not having dominant bigs, but I think that SEC as a whole it's one of the first times we don't have a really dominant big. I think it could be her, maybe not this season, but next season. But she got to lock in and get in the gym. Who else do they have?
So someone who because they've been hurt too, who kind of slipped my mind, Michaela Williams.
Yeah, a hooper.
Yes.
She didn't play because I think they said she had like an ankle something, and
yeah,
it
I
just
think
wasn't
still
worth it.
lingering. Yeah,
Right, which is understandable. But she could hoop. She could flat out score the ball. I'm interested to see. So they got Caitlin who could score, Kayla who could score, Flau'jae who looks like she's ready to go. So that's 3 really good scorers right there. And Michaela is like 6 something. I don't know how tall Caitlin Gilbert is, but she's not a small girl either. So those are pretty big guards. So yeah, they should. So that's somebody coming off the bench, probably Caitlin, because you're gonna start Michaela. So that's good. I think their depth really, I think that helps a lot. And then they have Sade Wilson, who's a point guard.
yes.
Now when she was at Duke, she did really, really well. She got to Miami and did not do well, in my opinion. So I'm interested to see how she kind of bounces back because I think she has it in her. I'm just, hoping they bring it out of her. She's a solid point guard. So I think they should be straight. Their only question mark for me is just post, what they're going to do as a whole in the post. But I think they're straight.
Because I know kind of the theme has been the true point guards, and that seemed to be a problem for them last year when they were trying Haley. And then I know there's also the
freshman
thing going on with last year Poa,
where I don't
I don't
know
know what that's about.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did like that she tried to get the international girlies get a coin. I did love that for her.
Yes.
And yes, I love that. But I don't know what's going on really off the court. But I will say they do have a true point guard now. They don't have to worry about, because I wouldn't want Poa running the point guard. I think they got Shy and they got Jada, the freshman. So I think they're pretty good at the point guard. I don't know what last year. I don't know where she fits really now. But she always comes on and gives us some good energy, so that's always needed.
Yeah, and I mean, you did touch on Flau'jae. To me, watching them last year, and this is acknowledging how great Angel Reese was, but my eye always went to Flau'jae last year because both ends of the court, I feel like she did a great job of setting the tone and like just a dog. Honestly.
Yeah,
I just love players like that, and I'm excited to see this season. I think she is locked in.
Yeah,
ready to go.
I think, like I always say about Kim and Dawn, they can get so hell bent on they traditional.
Yep.
Ball inside, ball inside, ball inside, ball inside, which kind of happened not last year for South Carolina, but the year before that. Ball inside when you do have these phenomenal girlies on the perimeter who can hoop too, but they traditional and it's worked for them.
Yep.
So I think now, like Dawn and Kim too, which is crazy that it's very similar situations. They're gonna we're gonna have to figure that out without that true dominant presence inside. So I think this season for both of them, I'm just interested to see how their coaching does, because that's just not typically what they do. They got their two bigs, you force the ball inside, we figure the rest out. So both of them are gonna kind of be in this new space, which is dope. I'm ready to see it.
Yeah. So Final Four contender in Baton Rouge?
When I see how they bigs work out.
Okay.
Ask me.
Okay. To be determined.
Yeah, when I see how they big, the guards, I think they got the guards. They guards. Got to see how the big situation work out.
All right, we'll come back to it. Don't worry. So got a couple of new faces in the conference. Texas, Oklahoma. Texas is number 4. I believe the big story for them last year, Madison Booker, she was part of this freshman class that was awesome. What makes her game so special to you?
It's interesting because I think her and Michaela Williams are the exact same player. Exact same.
No.
They have so many similarities to me. They just buckets. She could flat out score. And I think we got to see a little more of Madison doing it because they really needed her to do it.
Yeah.
We got to see it sometimes with Michaela. But other than that, she was so much more balanced around her. She's just a bucket. And then I think her having to learn how to run point guard is going to help her next season. This season now. She's just a bucket. She uses her body. She's a big body. She's just smooth. She's really just a bucket. Like she's big. She's just a bucket, man. She's really just a bucket. So her with Rory coming back, I know we give her some time to get her legs, of course. But her now with a point guard like that, yeah,
because I don't think people know. So people might not remember. So please remind them. But the reason Madison had to run point is because Rory got hurt.
Right.
What was this team looking like before Rory got hurt?
They was hooping.
Yeah.
They were really good. They were looking really good. They really were. They might have could have made. Yeah. They might have could have made a run, especially with that defense that Vic likes to play. It could have. I think they would have had a deep turning run. I really do. Because you remember the start, they beat UConn, and then everything kind of just fell off after that.
Yeah. They really put it on UConn, and I was like, oh, wait a second, what's going on?
Yeah.
But then, unfortunately, Rory did get hurt, and you're right. I think she tore her ACL in December, if I'm not mistaken.
Like yes, and Rory. Yeah, and she's one of those traditional point guards that knows exactly when to get people the ball, exactly how. Don't mind playing defense. That's the Big Schaefer point guard. Dawn and Vic, they gonna have them kind of point guards. That's Big Schaefer, because you remember Morgan Williams, like Vic Schaefer gonna have a little point guard, a little teeny tiny point guard that can run,
Yep.
get the people. That's his style, baby. Vic don't play about that.
No, so I'm excited to see her back healthy, and I do think it was good for Madison to run point like you said, but also kind of see her back in her natural position this year and see what that looks like too.
Yeah.
What is the rest of the roster looking like to you?
Layla Filia is really good at Michigan. I think she might have a little adjustment to the SEC. I think all of them will. Just physicality wise.
Yeah.
SEC is physical, and it's just an adjustment. They're big. They got some pretty decent bigs. Not like I wouldn't call them like All-American type, but they do have some pretty decent bigs. And I think Vic. But to me, that's when he does really well. Vic has a lot of really solid players, and he turns it up. That's what Vic does. So. Yeah, I think
I'm excited. Yeah, because I think who they got, Taylor Jones. I feel like she's always mixing it up and making things happen.
And then Aaliyah Moore, she's come along strong. So yeah, they got some pieces.
How do you think they adjust as a team to the SEC? And do you think, I mean, they're ranked number 4. Is this a Final Four contender in Texas? Their first year out the gate here.
I think they'll adjust well because Vic knows the SEC. So he knows how to prepare him. He's not, and he probably had them practicing and playing like that before they got to the SEC. So I think they'll adjust rather quickly, rather smoothly. Once again, I'm big on the bigs. Once I see how they bigs come out and playing, I can see. But once again, their guards, they working with some guards. Once I see how they bench plays, I'll see more, but I do think they can make a deep run for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because I was kind of curious about their depth too. Because I was like, not quite what a obviously South Carolina or LSU would have in terms of depth. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, but I do think they can go deep with that.
Yeah, a really, really high level talented team, especially when Lori gets her legs back under her. So along with them came the Oklahoma Sooners. Number 10 in the preseason top 25 is Raegan Beers from Oregon State. Is she that good to where they're going to jump up that much on her being there?
Now, she is the one that I have the big question mark about adjustment. Not because she can't hoop, because Raegan Beers put it on me. Raegan Beers is really good. However, transition from Oregon State to an OU, and then not only an OU, but now you're in the SEC where everybody's adjusting to that, and this. I got to see Raegan Beers do that first. And I'm not saying she can't, but I have to watch her run and go and do this. I have to see it. And they have Skylar Van, who did really well, and they have another girl. I really like her. She was my favorite on the team last year. I can't remember her name right now. Who was kind of like a small forward. So 10, maybe a little high right now, but I got to see Raegan. I got to see it in action. I have to see it.
Yeah, because it was a little bit more deliberate at Oregon State as far as their pace was concerned. I'm trying to see, was it Sahara Williams you're thinking of?
Yes, her. I love her. Yes, I like her.
Yeah, freshman last year, 10-5 last year as a freshman.
Like she was to me last season, she was very SEC coded. I'm like, ooh, that's an SEC girly right there. So I hope she does well to prove herself. Skylar Van, she did really well too. I'm just interested to see. And sometimes Oklahoma's style of play was very just shoot.
Yes.
And with Raegan, again, if you have this big who's not running, you can't just be shooting like that without giving her time to set up and do this. So I feel like they're going to have to change a lot. So I got to see it.
25 and a half 3-point attempts per game last year.
Yeah.
And they only hit 31% of them. So,
some games, Oklahoma.
mixing a layup.
Right. Second game, some games, Oklahoma, it's like they would hit every shot. Some games, it was like they would miss every shot. But either way, they were shooting it. So I, I'll have to see it. I'll have to see
Yeah.
it.
I couldn't believe when I was going down, I was like, 10.
Man, yeah,
Woo.
but Raegan Beers was really, really, really good. But in this
Yeah.
system, I just had to see it. I had to see it. I had to see
Yeah.
it.
So who else? Those are the top 10 teams. Got a couple of other teams in the top 25.
Uh-huh.
Who else you think could maybe be a surprise team out there in the SEC?
Tennessee.
Ooh, new coach there.
Now, I watched last night. It is chaotic. When I say chaos, chaos ensued the whole game. She's subbing every 2 minutes. That's not an exaggeration. Now, I don't know if she'll be able to do that realistically, or she just doing it for an exhibition game. She's subbing every 2 minutes, 5 for 5. It was chaotic. The defense, from my perspective, I don't know if the defense was really, really good or it was just chaotic. It was everywhere. It was just everywhere. And my concern would be when you get into the SEC play, y'all they pressing up so much that the back is wide open. And for the girls you were playing, Carson Newman, I think it works. You're big, you stealing the ball, you could be chaotic, they can't really see over you. When you get into SEC play, that's gonna have to be polished up a lot of it. So it is new, it's exciting. If they can figure it out, I think they'll surprise some people. It might take a season, it might take a couple of months, but it was just very chaotic. They do have some scores though. They got some girlies who could put the ball in the basket for sure. Talasia Cooper, Ruby Whitehorn, I think that's it. Samara Spencer from Arkansas, she's a very good point guard. She looked really good at point guard for them. Jewel Spear. They don't have a lot of size either. They got Julian and then a girl from Miami named Spearman. That's really the bulk of their size. And then they'll have the other girl from Syracuse. So I think they're lacking a little bit in the paint as well. But if they can figure it out and make it click, it'll work. But it was chaos. I mean, chaos.
I didn't get to see that, so I'm excited to see it. And we did just mention a lot of teams who have multiple players who can handle the ball.
Mm-hmm.
So that I think from what it sounds like, they probably would struggle against the top end teams, but you might be able to the middle of the pack teams and the bottom of the conference, you might be able to pick up some wins doing that.
Yeah, yes, for sure. I just think they'll have to. It was so chaotic, and then like they were pressing up sometimes, so they were getting beat backdoor. If the girls could see, because they were literally Carson Newman, but if they could see and get it down, they would get beat in the back, backdoor and stuff. So I'm like, I don't know, and they don't have no hesitation shooting it, so that's good. But it's very clear they just want to run. But I think it's a way that you run. It has to be a method to the madness, not just madness. And I couldn't tell, but it's only been one game. But just looking at it, I'm like, is there a method to this madness, or is it just madness? So as they go, if they figure it all out, I think they can surprise me. They got the scores. They got some girls who could put the ball in the basket for sure.
Just kind of rapid fire. Any thoughts on Kenny Brooks in Kentucky?
They'll be good eventually. Right now, he kept saying like, what he kept saying? Well, it's going to be a journey. It's going to be this. I'm like, is he trying to tell us they're not going to be that good? Yeah. So they'll get there eventually. Once he builds, he'll definitely get to what he needs. But we'll see.
What about Georgia Amore kind of making that adjustment from the ACC to the SEC?
I'm interested to see that.
Yeah.
She's really good, but the SEC is physical.
Ooh, yeah.
Physical. Them guards are going to sit in your pocket. So while she's really good, I think she'll still be good, but I think that'll definitely be an adjustment for her because they're going to be sitting in her pocket.
Yeah. And what about Coach Yo and Ole Miss?
I think they'll look better this season because they got KK Deans back, who is their true point guard. Last year they had Kennedy Todd Williams trying to do it. No. So I think KK Deans is a decent point guard. She'll be able to help KTW get the shots where she wants it, not trying to dribble and shoot. Madison getting her shots, and they got a couple of more scores. So I'm interested to see. Once again, just bigs. Everybody's bigs are the question for me right now.
Yeah, completely agree. So, any teams, players we didn't mention that we need to be looking out for?
Ooh, Talia Scott at Auburn with Diana Gaston. Because Auburn, they have some good games now. So now that they got somebody who can really score, they might can make some shake. Alabama has some really good girls, and their coach, she's a good coach. They got what's the girl name that started at Tennessee, went to a HBCU, and now she's back in Alabama. Oh, her name, I had it on the tip of my tongue and I just lost it. Anyway, she's back in the SEC. I'm interested to see how she does. The SEC is going to be a gauntlet this season.
I'm excited. I mean, it kind of always is every season.
That's true.
But I am excited because it's SEC basketball. And I mean, the struggle when football season, especially as Gamecock fans. I need something to look forward to in this conference.
Please don't get me started. Florida got some pretty good freshmen. Chloe Kitt's little sister, and then so that's interesting. But I think the teams that are at the top half will kind of be there. I don't know which order, but I would say LSU and South Carolina at the top. If Tennessee snuck in to the top half, maybe higher, I wouldn't be surprised. It's some of the teams. Arkansas, I don't think they're going to make any noise. Mizzou, I don't think they're going to make any noise. But that's not different.
Yeah. So, what about Vandy?
Oh, I love me some Shay Ralph.
Yeah, she's a fantastic coach.
Man, she's so good.
Yeah.
Yes. I think they'll be solid. I'm never sleeping on her. Never. Yeah. They'll be solid. And they got some good transfers. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm never sleeping on Shay Ralph. Ever. Ever. So, yeah, I think the top will be the top. 1 through 3. Who would I put it at third? I think it's LSU, South Carolina, 1 and 2. However that goes. Flippy, whatever.
It's tough. I think I've got Texas 3 right now.
Oh yeah. I think okay. Yeah. Okay, I can see that. Texas, South Carolina, LSU top.
Yeah, I think that's a mix. And then when we get to 4 down, I don't really have because I'm not a huge Oklahoma believer right now. Yeah, I gotta see it to believe it.
Yeah.
So that's where I think things can get really interesting.
I would say Ole Miss will push their way up there. Y'all know what she's doing at this point. She know how to get her girls prepared. So Ole Miss will be, I think, up there somewhere. After that top 3, top 4, really, I just don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, but that's what makes it so fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, well, before I get you out of here, you got to let everybody know where to find you because what you do is so impressive. How you can both break down the game and then you're giving lessons on society too. Like I'm smarter and less of a fool just listen to you talk about things as a person. So let people know where they can find you.
You can find me at Bigelow on all platforms. BIGGGLO_ everywhere. I'll be there.
I'm going to put that in the show notes so it's easy for everybody to find.
Yes.
Cannot thank you enough for coming on and helping us figure this SEC season out.
Whew.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
We got to come back at the end to see how everything went.
Yes. Yeah. Especially... a shameless plug. If you're here, I'm previewing the other conferences by myself, which is probably a mistake because I make some very concrete predictions that are only going to look foolish as the season plays out. Because that's just how things go. Like they play the games for a reason. They don't let me be in charge of everything. So it is what it is.
Yes.
But no, I appreciate you coming on. Everyone else, appreciate y'all checking it out. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Thank you for just watching, supporting, all that. And yeah, I'll catch y'all later.
Bye.